it.
Damn it! I forgot my timer. You want to get your phone?
Yeah. Your phone's right there.
Yeah, but I have my notes on it.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, what if I had notes on my phone? Or wait, you can see that.
You don't. Yeah.
You can also see that my notes are.
Yep.
Right
On
here.
a piece of paper.
Stopwatch. 3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah. Let's do it.
We haven't been recording though, have we?
Yeah, we have.
Oh God.
That's right. I mean, I have the time here. That's just for you.
Oh, I hope I didn't give away any proprietary information. I don't think so. I think that's
No, you didn't say what.
vague.
You didn't even say what you do at your work.
True. That's true.
Yeah. So I mean, you work for the NSA.
I work for the NSA.
And you're trying to sell to China.
And now that I've said that, we're all going to get murdered.
Yep. It's going to be fun.
You included.
You want to turn off the sound on your stuff?
Sure.
Also, you want to talk into the end of these
end
ones,
of it?
yes. The bottom,
where the little light is? Yeah, we have a new
microphones. So it's going to be better.
Well, presumably better.
It is better. These are definitely better sound.
Yeah, you can't see them, but they're covered in electrical tape,
Yeah.
which is always a great sign.
Hey, it's actually not electrical tape. It's actually just black duct tape.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Electrical tape is more fun, I think.
Yeah. I ran out because I've been using it so much. And dogs are eating very loudly.
Yeah, I don't think it'll pick up on the mics, though.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Yeah.
All right, well, this is How About. I'm Jared.
And I'm Kevin.
And this week we're talking Once Upon a Time in the West, the 1968 Sergio Leone movie. The description is a mysterious stranger with a harmonica joins forces with a notorious desperado to protect a beautiful widow from a ruthless assassin working for the railroad. And it stars Henry Fonda, James Bronson, Claudia Cardinale, and Jason Robards.
Yep.
So this was my pick. Kevin, what did you think about it? General thoughts.
General thoughts. This is a complicated movie. It's very I have a lot of feelings about this movie.
Yeah.
Some of them are very positive, and some of them are less positive. I don't think any of them are negative. They're just more neutral in overall you know, tonal feelings.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely an older film, and it feels its age.
Yeah.
It feels dated.
It's there's a lot of dialogue looping, ADR, that is not super well done.
Right. It's very obvious. And you know, it's fine.
It's also some of those people are speaking either heavily accented English with Italian accents or just Italian.
Yeah. They're definitely there's definitely some audio oddities. Yeah, I would say. Did
you as watching it? Did you start noticing them less and less though? Like the ADR especially. Did you stop watching people's mouths and trying to match the sounds to what they're saying?
Yes, but then something egregious would happen, and then I would be like, "Wow,
yeah,
it's weird."
Yeah,
and it would kind of bring me back and remind me that was happening pretty much throughout the whole movie, which
yeah.
That's just sort of how movies were done.
Yeah.
And still are done. There's lots of...
Yeah. It's just a more polished...
Yeah. We've gotten a little bit better at it. So beyond the audio, I would say that, the first couple shot, the first scene just takes forever to unfold.
Yeah. The credits take 10 minutes to all roll out.
Is it actually 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah. It takes a very long time. And, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's one of those things where you need to be in an okay headspace.
Yeah.
Or else you're going to be just get on with it, you fuckers.
Yeah. It is a very long movie. It's almost 3 hours.
Yeah.
It's 2:45.
2:45. And I did not know that when I started watching it.
Oh, okay.
And then about an hour in, I was like, this movie is not going anywhere.
Yeah.
In a hurry.
Yeah.
And in a hurry, right?
Yeah,
it was going
purposely.
somewhere.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I feel like it's slow, but it's that continuous build of.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. No, it's not a detriment to the film.
Yeah.
It's just part of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is very, very.
Yeah.
It's old and boring, Jared. It's boring. Nothing happens.
Oh boy.
And then stuff does happen, and it's wow, that kind of.
Yeah. Where'd that come from?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought about this when recommending it. Would you have liked a warning about this stuff? Would it have been helpful?
That's fine.
Okay.
I don't care.
All right.
I don't think it would have made my enjoyment any better if I or any worse or anything.
Yeah, it wouldn't have changed anything.
I don't think so.
Right.
It was my dog is chewing on his treat very loudly.
But so loud. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about what are your opinions of the Western genre, sort of? And this isn't really true Western, it's spaghetti Western. Have you watched any spaghetti Western?
I have not. Okay. I've also not really watched any Western movies just in general.
Okay.
I've seen like stuff where people are like, "Oh, this is like a Western," but set
like Wolverine.
Yeah, like Logan.
I mean,
Logan. Yeah. It's like this is like a Western.
Yeah,
but it's more of a drama / superhero film. And I've there's in like TV shows and stuff. They're constantly like paying homage to Westerns just because they were so prolific.
Yeah, like Community did a Western themed episode.
Yeah. There's other ones too, but
whoops,
that was your fault.
That was me this time.
That was your fault this time.
Oh, might be.
Yeah. So no, not a lot of experience with Westerns.
Okay.
I'm struggling to think of any true Western that I've watched. Oh, I've watched Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. It's like a Western, right?
Yeah, that's a Western.
And then now this one. I'm sure there's another one somewhere.
Yeah.
I'd have to look at
but you haven't gone out of your way to check out the genre. Okay.
No.
Would you say that it makes you more interested in watching another Western or in maybe another Sergio Leone movie?
No. I don't think I would go out of my way to watch more Westerns. Or Sergio Leone films, but I also wouldn't like avoid them because of it.
Yeah.
Like this, like in general, I enjoyed this movie. And like I can see that it was like crafted very well. Yeah. And there were like a couple scenes that I really, really enjoyed.
Yeah.
And like a couple elements that I was like, wow, this is so great.
Yeah.
And other times when I was like, this is kind of dragging. Like, get on with it.
Yeah.
But that's like it's hard for me to like decide like, oh, that's. Like, is that just like a remnant of the time,
Yeah.
Is that just because this movie was made in the late 60s that it's played out like this?
Yeah.
Or is it because of,
the filmmaker choices?
So
So it's like, it's kind of part of that. I mean, the like sound stuff. Like, I think it's actually a fascinating sound designed film that like he takes a lot of chances and does a lot of interesting stuff like, dialogue playing over other stuff or music just like introducing a character as they burst onto screen,
right
and stuff like that like if he had the technology of today, I just wonder what he might have been capable of. It could have been something really cool, and then he was just hampered by that it was the late 60s and
I mean like the introduction of what's the character's name? Isn't that Charles Bronson's character?
Charles Bronson, harmonica.
Is that
he doesn't have an actual name.
Harmonica. They just call him harmonica. So that's like an awesome introduction.
Yeah,
like it's just playing, and you think that it's like, oh, this is just the soundtrack of the film.
Yeah,
but nope. He's actually across the train tracks.
Yeah,
that's like,
and then it's him playing. Sort of.
Yeah, it's him playing. I think, is there other music that accompanies it, sort of?
Eventually an orchestra kind of comes in.
Okay, yeah.
But
this movie, in general, I think this movie I would benefit from a rewatch.
Yeah, that was my thought rewatching is I thought it was less long and slow. This is my third time rewatching it. And this time I feel like I was more looking for like, film choices, stylistic stuff, and listening to the music a lot more.
Right. Yeah.
It was an easier watch.
Yeah. There's a lot of like story choices even that I'm like, oh, this is really interesting, but I can't really think about it right now because something else is happening on the screen.
Yeah. That it's like slow, but actually the story clips along pretty quickly. Like it doesn't hold your hand with what's happening all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. I suppose that's true. It does, like, just because of how long each shot is.
Yeah.
Like, that's why it feels so long. I mean, it's a long film in general, but like each shot lasts for so long that like your brain is kind of like, we're kind of conditioned for each shot only lasting like 3.5 seconds or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
And so now that like in this movie where it lasts, like 30 seconds sometimes,
you're
just like, oh God, what's like your brain is like craving more information. but the camera's not necessarily giving it to you.
Right.
And so that's like, it can be a good thing and a bad thing, right?
Yeah.
And like, it can definitely end up being like feeling really weird.
Yeah. And I think a part of what that does is, I mean, and it's not technically coined as such, but I think the Sergio Leone or the Leone close-up of that super close on somebody's face, which is like top of their forehead to like bottom of their chin and lingering on that shot, or even like, you know, a pan and a zoom into somebody's face on that. I mean, it's a very distinct Leone style. And I think it also is something that leads you to sort of think a lot more about the characters as opposed to actually experiencing what they're doing. Cause like, it's not they don't have a ton of like face movement or anything when that happens, but they also don't do nothing. Like they're not staring blankly.
Right.
There's like either music or dialogue or something else or like sound effects and stuff of kind of telling the story in other ways. And I like in that first 10 minutes when I watched it the first time, I was like, oh man, I'm into this movie. I don't know why it's just like hitting all these buttons for me. And I was just like, who makes these choices? Yeah. Like the logical thing would be to not do that, to make you know, like 2 minutes of the people show up and then the train comes. Right. Like who sits there and like, so there's that guy who sits under the water barrel thing and he has a water drip on him. So like that was a thing on the day that Leone put that guy there and then the water's dripping on him and Leone is like, hey, we'll move you. And the actor was like, hey, no, actually if I sit here and I like make that my thing and I like drink the water out of my head. I'm like, how cool is that? Right. Such a fun choice. That in particular actually made me write down, like, this feels like a comedy. Yeah. Like, because that, like, it's almost funny. Yeah. Because you know that they're waiting for something very serious to happen. Like, they all, like, they come in and they kind of intimidate the ticket guy. Yeah. And, like, they're just being, like, very threatening and stuff like that. And, and then this dude is just standing under, like, just letting the water drip on him. Yeah. Like... Yeah, and they all have like fun little vignettes. Like there's the other guy playing with the water, and then the guy with the first with the telegraph stuff, and then later with the fly. Yeah, and it's like these are, you know, it kind of sets the mood for what the rest of the sort of desperado, you know, riders with each of the gangs are, which is like they're just hired help. Like they're nothing like. There are character moments with these characters, but they're not important characters. Sure, yeah. So that like kind of begs the question, why would we have moments with them? But I think that just enriches the movie for me. Like, yeah, it definitely like builds, like, you know, atmosphere. Yeah. And this is a very atmospheric film. Like Leone has said that this is the film that he kind of always wanted to make. That he made the Man with No Name trilogy with Clint Eastwood, and that was like kind of more trying to be swashbucklery in a way, like more kind of action stuff. And he was like, I want to do a contemplative Western, and this is it. Yeah. And I really like that because like I feel like a part of the Western genre is like a very like, you know, Americana sort of patriotic thing, and this really isn't that. Like all the people in this are pretty bad except for Jill, but yeah, they're kind of doing good things because. They're sort of doing good things because they decide to do them. Yeah, like but they're also all murderers still. Yeah. They're murderers. Yeah, as opposed to like, and it doesn't buy into the classic white hat, black hat. Yeah. It definitely doesn't. Sort of I mean, I think harmonica does have a white hat. Yeah, and a white jacket. And then the bad guy has a black hat and a black suit. Yeah, or something. So that's Henry Fonda. Do you know anything about Henry Fonda? Other than that, he's Jane Fonda's father. He's in this movie. Yeah. So he was an interesting choice to be a villain because he had been was like the sort of pretty boy hero. Sure. And like even there's a story that he came to Italy with. Oh, he was in 12 Angry Men. Okay, keep going. Okay. Yeah. So I have seen him before. Yeah. I don't remember. Yeah, he's a pretty famous actor. Guy of the time. But yeah, so he came to Italy with brown contacts in. And Leone was like, hey, actually, no, I want you to do this with your blue eyes, and I want people to recognize your blue eyes when I come. Like, there's that shot where it's from behind his head, and then it comes around, and you see his blue eyes. And, like, to people at the time, that would have been super he was super recognizable. So, like, see him as a villain who then murders a kid immediately after. Yeah.
Yeah. And you think
dramatic.
he's not gonna murder him? Like I thought he was not gonna murder him at first. I thought he was gonna be like, yeah, we're gonna take this kid with us. To be like our servant boy / train to be an asshole like us.
Yeah.
And then he's like, nope.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
That guy's not very nice.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah. He's I mean, the worst of the worst.
It must have been shot in black and white, right?
No, it was shot in
color.
color.
Was it shot in color? Okay. Yeah. It seemed... I watched it off of Amazon. And it seemed like it had been restored, but maybe...
Yeah, it has been restored.
Okay.
So, like, this is also one of those movies that when it was released in the U.S., it was, like, cut down to 2 hours or an hour and a half or something.
An hour and a half, yeah.
Yeah.
Which...
It ruined it, and then it, flopped.
Right. I don't really know how you would cut it.
So they, cut the whole beginning part. They cut, a bunch of the standoff in the saloon place that they stop at.
Okay, so that's literally my favorite scene.
Yeah, so that's why, people hated it when it came out in the U.S., but in Europe it was released as it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's pretty, I can't think of how you could justify cutting it. Other than
you don't think audiences will be able to handle 3 hours in a theater.
Yeah. But there were plenty of 3-hour movies other places.
Yeah, no, it's a bad choice.
Yeah.
I'm not justifying it.
Yeah.
I can't imagine how boring that movie would be
and confusing.
Yeah. It's already the plot doesn't explain itself right away.
Right.
It kind of lays itself out like a carpet.
Yeah.
So
and you need to remember
just, right, yeah.
You need to remember, we kind of spend the first about half hour introducing our 3 main guy characters.
Right.
And the McBain stuff.
Right.
And then after that, you need to remember, there were people waiting at the train for Harmonica, because Harmonica just, gets mixed up in this. He doesn't have any... And neither does Cheyenne. Cheyenne's not a part of this. He was just used by Frank to...
Right, he's just upset that someone was trying to besmirch his already kind of bad name.
Yeah.
But he doesn't want to be known as a child murderer, because he won't do that.
He don't kill children's.
Yeah.
Yep. Back to the beginning, that opening shot. How did you? What do you? I don't know what I'm asking here. Hang on. What did you think of the sound design of that? That there's no music until that 10-minute mark when harmonica starts playing. But there's the creak of the wind vane. There's the flying stuff. There's
the buzzing.
All that stuff. Yeah, I really, really like that.
Yeah, it's again I like all that. And I think it would benefit. It's one of those things that I would appreciate more upon rewatching it.
Yeah,
because I generally don't like opening credit scrolls, and I'm really glad that they've completely kind of gone out of the way. Modern movies now are just get to the story, let's get going.
Yeah.
We can build atmosphere and all that shit later.
Yeah.
Or never, who knows?
We got to get more explosions in.
We got to get more stuff involved.
Yeah.
And so it seemed like each name got 30 seconds or something.
Yeah.
Of just the name.
Yeah.
And so that's as a modern viewer, that's frustrating.
Yeah.
And it's harder to appreciate the sound design, but you do notice it, right?
Yeah.
Everything just sounds really good.
Yeah.
The fly buzzing around.
Yeah.
And then it's clearly fake at one point where they're pulling it on the thing.
Yeah.
And it sounds oh, that's cute.
Yeah. But you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, you can't train a fly to do that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think they painted his face with sugar or something, sugar water.
Sure, to get the fly to land on it. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Again, it's
great.
It's equal parts fun and frustrating.
Yeah. And you could see a movie where they don't do that. That doesn't matter. And again, I appreciate this movie for making that choice.
Doing that. Yeah, because again, it probably was much, much harder to do all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh yeah, Harmonica has a great line when they're talking about the horses and did you bring one for me?
Yeah, yeah.
They're no, we brought 3, and he's no, you brought 2 too many, and I'm oh man, that guy.
Yeah. So I'm wow, that guy's a badass.
Yeah, he's the best.
He's definitely our hero. And then later on, he's beating the shit out of some guy.
Yeah.
And I'm and he's torturing him.
Yeah.
And I'm oh, okay. Our hero
is he our hero?
Our hero is just torturing this guy. I mean, he is, right?
Yeah.
He's the hero. Along with, they took like bad guys and they made them into the hero.
Yeah, they do heroic stuff this time around.
Right, yeah.
But
they end up being the hero, sort of, because like their own personal motivations lead them to do so. Yeah,
that it kind of shows that Frank's problem was that he tried to use these people and he didn't understand that they're maybe more dangerous and not the right people to sort of dismiss. Which I really enjoyed that it shows like kind of Frank being like sort of Frank's arc is that he comes into his own as being the leader of the not just his gang, but like trying to supplant the railroad guy.
Right.
And sort of like he isn't as smart as he thinks he is.
Yeah.
And he kind of gets in too deep.
Yep. Immediately crashes down to Earth.
Well, I mean, yeah, pretty quickly.
Pretty
I mean, he gets pretty close.
He does.
He almost gets all the land and everything.
He almost wins out.
Yeah.
But
yeah. And also that, like, the idea that Harmonica and Cheyenne are only helping out because of their honor. Like, I mean, Harmonica wants to kill Frank.
Yeah.
He wants to kill him the right way.
Pretty much his only motivation.
Yeah. And Cheyenne's like, you used my dusters against me.
Yeah.
And I like my dusters.
My dusters.
Yeah, you besmirched my dusters' names.
Yeah. And then the woman, Jill, is just sort of there.
Yeah.
And that character is really interesting to me.
Yeah.
Like that reveal where you're like, oh, she was a prostitute in New Orleans.
Yeah.
And then, like, I'm not really sure what that did to the character, or like, because again, I'd have to like rewatch it and like kind of figure out like the scenes early on where, like, I mean, she doesn't even get to spend time with her husband.
Well, I mean, she met him in
in New Orleans. But not like in the movie. You know, we don't get to see them interact at all.
Yeah.
And so like it's all sort of like thinking back on like what sort of character he was and like his children, and then he's bringing like this woman.
Yeah.
And like.
Yeah, but I think like that gets sort of. I mean, there's that kid who says like she's not my mother when he calls her that.
Right, but
like that sets up a little bit sort of that dynamic, but it isn't like that. That isn't the full focus of.
Sure.
It's a different story that this movie is telling.
Which
is about the brutal murder of that family, which also that family gets murdered. 15 minutes in, 20 minutes in, maybe. And that was like horrible.
Yeah, that was pretty sad.
Yeah, very upsetting.
They just murder the girl, and then they murder the...
But also a great set of tension filmmaking. Like, the cicadas or whatever. I think those are cicadas, aren't they?
I think they're probably just crickets.
Oh, crickets. Okay, whatever. But there's the sound of the bugs. They stop once, and everybody, like, looks around, and then nothing happens. And then they stop again, and then, like, he goes and he looks at... Mr. McBain goes and like looks at birds or something like that.
Yeah.
Then he hears that shot ring out and he like looks around and he's like, "What?" And then it's his daughter. And then there's a very dramatic run tracking shot. That's really good. And he gets like shot a bunch of times during that.
Yeah.
It was brutal.
Rip.
Yeah. Yep. And then so then when they okay, my other point of that is that again, you can either have like nobodies who are just a bunch of bodies that we happen upon. Like you could have shot this as Jill just shows up and there are a bunch of bodies and she's like, this was the family I was supposed to be married into and they're all dead and stuff. But it takes the time to show all of this and, Frank's gang sort of whole plan and that stuff.
Yeah. Such a great plan.
Yeah. I mean, it's an okay plan. But then when Frank comes up and he has that big reveal, which I also really enjoyed, he says, or one of his friends, not really his friends, one of his lackeys, says, "What are we going to do with this one, Frank?" And then he like looks around at him really slowly and he says, "Now that you've called me by name," and he smiles, and then there's a one shot of the gun. Yeah. Yep. Great. So good. Love that tragedy. Love that murder.
Yeah,
some good murdering.
It's quite the murder.
Yeah. And then Jill arrives on the train.
Yep.
And she does that thing of like I don't remember who was saying it. I think it might have been who's the guy from Firefly, the main guy from Firefly.
Malcolm Reynolds is the character's name.
Oh boy, we've ground to a halt here. But anyways, some actor. And it may not have been him, but I was listening to an interview where an actor is like, it was in Oh Hello. the movie version of Oh Hello on Netflix. Do you know
haven't
that?
seen it.
Okay. Well, Steve Martin is on, and he talks about how when you answer a phone, you should always be acting the opposite way of the news you're going to get on the phone is.
Sure.
And she does that thing of like she's really happy when she gets
Right,
off the
yeah,
train,
yeah.
and then she gets really sad.
Right.
And I thought that was funny, knowing that little tidbit. But
Sure,
also,
sure.
it was effective. That I mean, yeah, she would be happy because she finally
Right.
gets to, not be a prostitute anymore and
Right.
marries this nice guy and is going to be a part of this nice family and this nice place and maybe get rich.
Well, she thought he was rich to begin with.
Yeah. Which is like technically not untrue.
Yes, it's not untrue.
He was just rich in a different way. He didn't have little yellow circles like everybody thought.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. His land had more value than previously thought.
Yeah, and then so also her song plays right when she arrives, and it's a very haunting. Like it has a solo woman's voice over the top of some keyboard. I think it. I don't think it's. I wrote down harpsichord, but I think maybe it's a harp actually that plays her theme. But yeah, the music in this is really really good. It's Ennio Morricone again, who worked with Sergio Leone on all that stuff. Like he's most famous for the whole whistling theme of The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Oh, okay.
Which I'll drop right here as a sound bite. No, I won't. I can't do that editing.
You could if you spent time.
Yeah.
That's too
not
much
going
work.
to. This is
We're
gonna
too
go up
lazy. Go
today.
look it up. You've got
Yeah.
YouTube.
Yeah, I mean, you know what it is.
You know what it is.
But I think this score is his best score, actually. I like
yeah?
this the best, yeah. Because it's also filled with a bunch of light motifs of that every character gets a musical sting. And it's really good. I really like it a lot. Like in particular, there's a guitar sting of somebody's theme. I can't remember where. It's somewhere in my notes here. But anyways, as somebody gets introduced, I think it's Cheyenne. Maybe as he enters the saloon, there's like a guitar sting as he enters.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I don't remember.
Maybe not.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah.
Again, this movie, like even when I was watching it, I could tell that it was very like a lot of things going on that like you can't really pick up when you're just trying to like figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
Like all this stuff like in the background, like different like musical motifs and stuff. It's hard to like fully pick up on and remember. Yeah. First time you're watching something.
Yeah.
But
yeah, the soundtrack is a good listen all on its own.
Yeah, it definitely was. Like, again, the harmonica is fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah. And I really like Jill's theme a lot. It's very
melancholy.
Melancholy, yeah. I wrote that down.
Nice.
Yep. Yeah. Let's see. So then they're headed to the place to see all the dead bodies on the picnic tables. How'd you like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was kind of clowny.
Yeah.
Like it was very sad.
Because it was a shot of people's faces,
right?
And then
yeah.
it's the reveal of
and like
the
we kind of
bodies
know
on the
what's
table.
Was gonna, I didn't think they were going to be on a table.
But before that, there's a great match cut between the saloon owner, who's like has a head-on shot, and then Jill like looking horrified. Mm-hmm. It's just like a straight cut to her. Right. It was really great. I really liked that.
Really liked it.
Yeah,
it's good.
I enjoyed it a lot. I really, really like this movie.
Yeah, I can see why. Again, there's lots of like filmmaking stuff in it, where like it's very fun if you notice all those things.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Harmonica, when they meet for the first time, Cheyenne and Harmonica in that saloon place. Harmonica says, I saw 3 of these dusters a short time ago. Right. They were waiting for a train. Inside the dusters, there were 3 men. Yep. So, inside the men, there were 3 bullets. It was just great. Like, I really like Charles Bronson for whatever reason. Like, I really liked him in The Great Escape. Was, I think, the only other place that I've seen him. But I think he was great in this role. Yeah, no, he was fantastic. Yeah. Oh, I mean, all the actors are really good. But him in particular, like he's like kind of you never could.
I never could quite get a read on him.
Yeah.
Like, he shows up and he kills those guys, and you're like, oh, he's the good guy.
Yeah.
Because he killed those guys.
Yeah.
Because those guys were weird looking and kind of mean.
Yeah.
But then, like, later on, like, he's just playing his harmonica outside of Jill's, like, house. Mm-hmm. And he's just, like, just to be creepy. Yeah. Like, like, I don't know why he's doing that.
Yep. I mean,
and then, like,
he's, like, standing guard over her. But he could have just said, like, there are people out to kill you.
Right. Yeah.
Didn't have to just blow his harmonica in the middle of the night.
Right. But
scare the bejesus out of her.
Right. Just, like, scare her. And then after, like, Cheyenne and his men leave, like, he's just in her barn. Yeah. And then he, like, kind of, like pushes her around.
Yeah, he like assaults her. Yeah, really. Like he strips her of her clothes, which I didn't realize. Do you realize? I mean, the reason that he did that was to distract the gunmen who were waiting outside.
Oh, okay.
If she was like a little bit more exposed, sort of.
Right,
I mean, at least that's what I think it is.
Sure. Okay.
But at the time, I was like, why is he?
Right.
I don't understand.
Yeah, he's like, why is he doing that?
Yeah.
There's no real. I mean, yeah, maybe again. Yeah. I'd have to watch it again to see like their reaction when she like walks to the well.
Yeah, I think they're just like, I don't understand what's going on. We're here to kill this lady.
Sure.
I didn't know it was a pretty lady. That changes things.
Right.
Yeah. But he just uses her for bait to kill these guys.
Kill those guys, yeah.
And it doesn't seem like he really cares about her exactly. Like, I mean, I think he does, but
I think he does only because, like, he has that personal vendetta against Frank.
Yeah.
And she was wronged by Frank. And so now he's like, well, I mean, I can just kind of ball that into my own personal vendetta.
And that Frank appears to have some connection to her. So he's going to use her for bait.
Yeah.
To get Frank.
Right.
But then also, like, he does go off on the side quest to, well, not really. Yeah, he does. He goes to the train to find Frank and kill him.
Right. Yeah. But again, it's all tied to his personal
vendetta. He does build. He does tell the people to build this station.
Yeah, he does tell the people to build this. He figures out Brett McBain's plan.
Yeah, which is that he has the only water outside of
Flagstaff.
I think.
Yeah, one of those. Flag something.
Yeah, in Arizona.
Sure.
And so he wants to build a town called Sweetwater.
Mm-hmm. Is that a real town in Arizona?
So that is the town in Westworld. That's what the town in Westworld is named after.
Oh, because of this movie?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. So that's how I discovered this movie. I didn't say, but with the creators of Westworld, gave an interview, and they said they had a list of like the westerns or sci-fi movies that inspired them, and this was one of the movies. And they said like specifically this inspired the main blonde lady. I want to say Rachel, but I'm pretty sure that's the actor's name.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about, though.
Yeah.
Dolores.
Yeah, Dolores. Yeah. So, yeah, the character of Jill inspired Dolores a lot. Of like...
okay.
That she's like... Could be a damsel in distress, but isn't a full damsel. Like, she does have agency over her own choices and chooses to stay and fight. Like, but also doesn't go the other route of like picking up a gun and learning how to shoot. Right. Like, she just kind of stands in defiance and tries to do the right thing and kind of endures it all a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I enjoyed. I really like Claudia Cardinale. Have you watched the original Pink Panther movies?
Yes, but like, 15 years ago or something. I was very young.
Yeah. She plays the princess in the first one.
Sure.
Yeah.
I was like 7.
That's fair.
It's not something that I keep in my brain.
Yeah.
It's too filled with other garbage.
Yeah. Let's see. So the guy that Harmonica confronts at I think it's a clothes washing depot or something. His name is Wobbles, which I didn't catch the first time. I thought he didn't have a real name, but his name is Wobbles.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah. Pretty silly.
And he also wears suspenders and a belt.
Yeah, that was great.
That was funny.
It was a great bit. I mean, not a bit, but a great.
It's a great little detail.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah. So in terms of the plot, it turns out that Harmonica knows that Frank faked Cheyenne's hit of the McBains.
Yep.
And so that's why all of them
How does he figure that out?
Because of the dusters. So, like, when the townsfolk go and form their posse, they, like, see a bit of the duster of Cheyenne's gang, and so Cheyenne's men are the only people that wear those dusters. So it's, like, the clue, and so they go out and try to kill him. Then Cheyenne's like, hey, that's not cool, guys. I want to figure out what's afoot here.
Right.
So he, like,
so how does Harmonica figure it out? Oh, was he, like...
Because Harmonica was at that saloon, and he knows how Frank operates.
How
Frank operates, yeah, because he's been following Frank.
Oh, right, yeah,
right. He's hunting for Frank, so he knows his methods. Like, I mean, that's just the explanation. It's not clear exactly, but I think like that's why he confronted Cheyenne when he first comes in, because those guys were wearing dusters of his.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because I was like, why? How did he figure that out?
But that's why that saloon scene is important.
Yeah.
Because it. First off, tells Jill and also Harmonica that those people who are those dusters are a part of Cheyenne's gang. Right. But also it tells us, like, without a doubt, that Cheyenne was in the custody of the police or whatever, sheriffs or whatever.
Right. During the time of the murder.
Yeah. Because he just escapes to go into the saloon. Yeah. That's great.
So that his posse can rescue him.
Yeah. Yeah. That's funny. I like that trope of, like, posse members being real dum-dums who just, like,
they're like...
can shoot good, maybe?
Not even. They're just sort of there and, like...
they're, just there to pad the numbers.
Right, yeah.
To soak up some bullets.
Yep.
Yeah, that was great. And, like, also, we don't get attached to any of them. Like, we don't learn any of their names. Like, none of them have more than a couple of speaking lines.
Right, yeah.
Like, there's that when they're... when Cheyenne is carted off to Yuma, like, there are those two who buy the tickets.
Right.
I just thought that was, like, very silly. We don't know anything about these guys.
They're just there to help Cheyenne.
2 tickets to the next station, please.
Yeah.
It's great. So much fun. Let's see. Do you have any moments you want to talk about? Anything?
Again, my favorite moment was the one in that like laundry place with laundry/bar.
Yeah. Where he tries to strangle that.
Where he tries to, but before that.
When they come. Yeah. Okay, yeah.
And like,
I like
because that scene is like wonderfully tense.
Yeah.
In like the best possible way.
Yep.
Where like you're kind of on the edge of your seat, like as you think like, oh god, are they just gonna like start shooting at each other for literally no reason?
Yeah.
Because they both like seem like, well, we've seen Harmonica murder people.
Yeah.
And then like
Cheyenne feels dangerous.
Cheyenne feels dangerous, and we know he just escaped from.
Yeah. Also, custody. I like how they did that. They didn't show.
They didn't show the shackles until he gets to the bar.
Yeah, and they didn't even show him like escape or anything. We hear all of that overhead. Like that's another sound design thing. Like those are pretty cool.
Yeah, and he just kind of walks in. And that's great.
It was great. Yeah, I liked it a lot.
Yeah, that scene was really fun.
Yeah. There's a great shot in that of when Cheyenne slides the lantern thing down. There's a great shot of the swinging light as you see Harmonica's face in the gloom, and then in the light, and then the gloom, and then the light. It was great. Yeah.
Yeah. How do you feel about the ending of the film?
I thought it was pretty good, actually.
After just the how Jill is like, I'm not really sure of her, like what she actually wanted at the end of the movie.
Yeah. Well, I guess I think she just wanted to do Brett McBain's plan.
Yeah.
Just live kind of quietly there.
Sure. But like, did she want, because, what's his name? Cheyenne is like, he's not going to hang out here with you.
Yeah. So that was the question that like it seems like our two bandits, Cheyenne and Harmonica are like kind of romantically linked to her.
Sure.
They have a little bit.
Right.
Like at least in the context of she's the only lady in this movie. And they're both men.
They're both men, yeah.
Yeah.
Who are like significantly older than her.
Right. Yeah, I mean it's the 60s.
60s. Again, it's very dated, you know?
Yeah.
Like
right. Yeah. So it seems like, I mean, she does have a legit connection kind of with Cheyenne, especially when he comes to her house that first time, and like the whole recurring coffee thing.
Yeah, they like build a rapport sort of thing.
They seem to know, they seem to at least understand each other.
Yeah.
Like he has a weird line when he's leaving. He's like, "You remind me of my mother. She was the biggest whore in Alameda."
And then we learn
the
later.
nicest lady. Yeah. But like also, so that is both showing him as a very perceptive character and also her as kind of like, she doesn't like, she's not submissive, but she's also not confrontational in any way.
Yes.
Exactly, like directly confrontational. Like she just kind of endures the storm and ends up at the end kind of persevering.
Yeah, she's very flexible in that manner where it doesn't really matter what asshole is like trying to intimidate her or
because she also, I mean, she does have that great speech about like, you know, if she gets raped or whatever, she'll just, you know, wash it off and continue on her day, which I thought was like sad, but also kind of
empowering in a strange
inspiring,
way.
empowering, especially for the time, I think.
Yeah.
But also as like in terms of like a Western narrative, like, I mean, there's so many women in Western narratives anyways.
Yeah.
And to have her as our hero, because like she is the true hero really of this movie. But yeah, it's an interesting kind of turning on its head of that, the genre in a way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. What do you think of they follow, so Wobbles eventually gets scared into going back to Frank, and then both Cheyenne and Harmonica follow him there. Harmonica gets caught, then is like, you know, tied up, and Frank wants to know who he is, and he has that great bit of, he starts naming the names of
Frank's victims.
But then it turns out that Cheyenne is also there.
Yeah, he's
hiding under the train. Which is why Wobbles dies.
Yeah,
he gets his one suspender shot off, the other suspender shot off, and then his belt shot off. Which is a great tag to that little humorous joke. But then eventually Frank leaves, and then Cheyenne has to rescue Harmonica, and so he like plays a game of cat and mouse with all these guys. But the final kill, he gets him with a gun in a boot, dangling in front of a window.
Yes,
that was great. I really like that so much. But also, how could he couldn't see
him. He couldn't see him.
Yeah,
he just knew he was there.
Yeah.
Also, like when you put your hand.
I think the mechanics of that wouldn't work.
Like, is he pulling he must be pulling with his pinky, but then he's like bending it like this, and that's really weird. Yeah, because it's like inside the boot, right? Yeah. And so like
he either has a giant boot,
which he could have.
It could be.
Know.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's doing some sort of hand contortioning,
or it's a movie and they didn't care.
Yeah.
They're like, this will be fun.
Fun kill. Yeah. I mean, that's what it was. Yeah. For sure. Yeah.
I guess a boot could be that way, and then he could be like this. Oh, sure. I don't know. It's fine.
Yeah. It's a tough shot.
I'm not going to worry about it too much.
I mean, it just proves that he's a superior gunman.
To the henchmen, yeah.
Yeah.
Totally owned those henchmen.
Yeah.
And I like was the only motivation of the rich railroad guy that he wanted to go see the ocean?
Yeah, he wanted to go coast to coast.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, he's just, like, kind of dying on the train.
Yeah. Yeah, because he has like I don't think it's cerebral palsy, but he says it's like palsy of something.
Sure. I don't remember. I didn't catch it.
Yeah, so he's just like a rich guy who wants to go to from ocean to ocean.
Yeah.
But then so then the payoff of that is like he's dying and he like goes to that puddle.
Yeah.
Then he hears the waves again.
Yeah.
So he's at peace. No, he's not.
Yeah. He's kind of an asshole though.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a huge feel
asshole.
bad for him.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he didn't get his way.
Yeah, that's true.
It's always bad. Let's see. Oh, wait. So when Harmonica is first captured by Frank and they first see him, we get the first of the motif of the blurry person emerging from the desert that plays a couple more times. You know, Frank, which is the reveal of the backstory of Harmonica. Because we don't know why Harmonica is trying to kill Frank.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed that, like as a recurring, like, you know, it happens every so often when they meet.
Right.
And you're like, who is that? What's happening? Like at first I thought it was going to be Harmonica coming out of
coming out of the desert. Yeah,
but it turns out to be a young Frank.
A young Frank.
Yeah, which looked really freaky looking. Like he looked weird in that for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they just used makeup.
Yeah, I mean, they just like put a wig on him.
Yeah. Or maybe they colored his hair.
Yeah,
probably.
Then he had like a really creepy smile too.
Yeah. It was
great.
It was cool.
And also an interesting way to reveal the backstory. Like he doesn't like harmonica doesn't have a big speech or anything.
Yeah, there's no
just transported
no exposition.
As
it's
they stare each other down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which is also so he wants to kill Frank because Frank set him and his brother up as a 2-person human pyramid.
Yeah,
and his brother was also attached to a noose.
Mm-hmm.
So got to get creative with your kills.
The thinnest rope possible.
Yeah, it was a very thin rope.
It's like, oh god, is that even going to hold him?
Yeah,
but it does.
Yeah,
and then the brother dies.
Yeah,
sadly.
And Frank puts a harmonica in his mouth.
Did the brother kick him, or did he just fall over from exhaustion?
This time watching it, I think the brother did like kick him away to just let him die.
Right, let himself die.
Yeah, that was
because they're not getting out of that situation.
Yeah,
and then Frank just lets harmonica grow to be his own worst enemy.
Yeah, he really Batman and Jokered him.
Yep.
Created his own worst enemy.
Yeah.
I want to create that as a phrase. He really Batman and Jokered him.
It's not a good phrase. You should let it go. It's too long.
It's great. All right, he really B&J'd him.
Yes.
All right. Let's see what's next. What do I have next? So it turns out that Jill gets a delivery of lumber, and so she finally puts it all together. But Frank
does she put it together? Oh, she does. Yeah,
because she rushes back to the house to see the
to see the
station.
Yep.
Little model thing.
Yep.
But Frank has beat her there.
Yep.
And then he captures her. So then Frank turns against the train guy.
Yeah.
And is no longer his partner.
Yeah.
And the train guy's, but like, why? I've crutched my way all the way out here.
Yeah.
To reason with you.
Yeah.
Which is another sort of like interesting plot wrinkle that Frank turns against him, and then eventually Frank's own men are bought off by the train guy to kill him.
Yeah.
So it's like everybody's just double crossing everybody.
Yeah. And harmonica saves him.
Yeah.
More or less.
Because he wants to kill him.
Yeah.
Doesn't want anybody else to kill him.
Yeah, but he has like he doesn't say that. He's like,
well, yeah, because he doesn't say those things.
Yeah, he's like, I didn't let him die. Those are different things, something like that. Which is like cool, and at the same time, it's like, okay.
Yeah. Frank captures Jill, and then he also rapes her, which that wasn't great, and that was pretty unnecessary.
Yes.
Yeah.
Again, a movie from the late 60s.
Yeah, and also realistic to the time period it was covering too. Yeah,
probably. But like, I don't like that excuse so much.
Yeah, it's not a great excuse
because you don't need to write it like that.
Yeah,
you don't. Yeah, just because something happened doesn't mean that you need to depict it.
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah. So, but then he uses her to sell her own land off.
Yeah, because that's faster than marrying her and taking the land. Which, like, I mean, is it? Like, couldn't you just be like, hey, Judge, we're getting married now?
Yeah. It probably would have been suspicious, though, if they get married and then the next day her body turns up.
Well, he wouldn't have to murder her. He said that she would make a great...
run away, try to tell some authorities or something.
Maybe. Who
knows? Yeah, I think it's a good choice to try to auction it off. Yeah, because what could go wrong? Like from his perspective,
right? Yeah,
he's already two other detectives on the case.
Yeah, he's already intimidating everyone at the auction to keep the bid super low.
Yep. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah. So then, it's harmonica breaks up the auction by bidding 5,000, and his 5,000 is in Cheyenne. Yeah, that's great. I like that. A lot of fun. They have a little great exchange as they're coming down the steps that eventually ends with there were no dollars in those days, and then Cheyenne says, "But sons of bitches, yeah." That was great. Just like the whole delivery of that line, was so good. Yeah. Again, the acting in this is great.
The performances are.
What
really
do you
good.
Of the three gunmen? Who was your favorite? Frank, Cheyenne, or harmonica?
Harmonica.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't need to say anything.
Yeah.
He's just playing his harmonica.
Just a badass.
Yeah. And like he's just got a kind of a weird smile on half the time.
Yeah.
And he just looks cool.
Yeah. Yep. What about of their hats? Which hat would you take?
I don't know. Because like Cheyenne's is sort of like a brown, right?
Yeah, it's a regular brown, and then the black for Frank,
and then like a kind of tan.
Yeah, white kind of dirty like
white,
rolled up on the edges a little bit.
Yeah, I didn't love the rolled up on the edges.
Yeah,
part.
I didn't like that either.
I liked Frank's, I guess.
Yeah, Frank's is a pretty cool one.
Yeah,
yeah, because it's just a straight brimmed black.
Yeah,
classic.
Yep. I don't think I could pull it off though. So
yeah, probably not. Yeah. What type of hat are you? Write into howaboutpod@gmail.com.
Yeah. Let us know what sort of hat you'd like to wear.
Yeah, in the Old West specifically.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, so that all happens, and then yeah. So when Frank arrives, though, to confront the deal gone bad, the auction gone bad, we get another motif of that coming in out of the desert thing.
Yeah, yeah. Because
I don't have anything to say.
Yeah, because he knows.
Yeah,
he knows that he's close.
Yeah, yeah. And then he has a standoff with his men because the train guy has bought them off.
Mm-hmm. Anyways, yeah. You got anything else?
Well, I just want to say, let's see. The railroad reaches Sweetwater.
Mm-hmm.
Cheyenne returns for his coffee with Jill, which was a fun,
just cute, sort of.
Yeah, I mean, as cute as it gets. And then we get the duel between Frank and harmonica.
Yeah,
which is great. Like we get the full playing of the theme of those two.
Yeah,
musically as they do a standoff, and this was a great standoff, but not the best Leone standoff, because the best one is in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, which is a 3-person standoff. And like, there's even I watched a, it wasn't actually on YouTube, but it was like a video essay on Vimeo about that. It was like the editing of that is actually mathematical.
Oh, sure.
It's really interesting.
Yeah.
Just like the tension of how people and like the geography of where people are. But yeah, the music of this one is really great. And then that's where we get the reveal of harmonica's whole backstory.
Yeah, we get the rest of it.
Yeah.
It's not just him walking sort of closer, but
yeah, it was great.
How did Frank miss?
I'm not sure. I mean, I think it was just the draw.
Sure, because the bullet travels so fast that
if
you don't shoot it,
harmonica shot through Frank's bullet.
Or he like,
not true.
Or he like even pulled the trigger, and Frank got hit before he even pulled the trigger.
Yeah, maybe because he does spin.
Yeah,
when he gets hit, so maybe that was
maybe that threw off his
shot
aim,
off.
Yeah. Or he's just old, you know.
Yeah,
he's an old man.
He's an old gun. At this point,
old men are.
So, but I like that whole when Frank is dying, he goes to like put his gun back in his holster and he misses, but it like doesn't seem to matter because he's dying. And then he gets the reveal of who harmonica is because harmonica puts the harmonica in his mouth,
and then he
he's like,
it. He's like, oh shit, Dad.
Row.
Yeah.
Good
times.
Yeah. Let's see.
Yeah, we already talked about
that's it.
The end. Yeah, and then
yeah. Well, Cheyenne dies at the end because he runs into Morton randomly, and Morton shoots him because he was scared. And so Cheyenne's dead, and harmonica rides off into the sunset, and Jill brings those guys water.
Yeah,
that's the end of the movie.
Yeah,
that's it. Anything more to say?
No, not really.
Okay.
It's a very good movie. But again, it's a very old movie.
Yeah,
and it takes a certain mindset to like really appreciate what's happening.
Yeah. And in fact, like if you have listened to this whole thing and haven't watched the movie, I think maybe listening to this would be a good reason for you to go watch it.
Yeah,
because it's very visual, it's very auditory. It just has a lot.
There's a lot of stuff that goes on, but it's like everything kind of unfolds very slowly.
Yeah.
And so it's like kind of weird.
Yeah. And it might even be a good candidate to like, once you start getting bored, maybe set it down.
Yeah.
Pick it up the next day.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think it's I don't know.
It's definitely worth a watch.
Yeah.
I can't not recommend it.
Yeah, and this is the movie that got me into Leone.
Sure.
As a filmmaker, really. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I haven't watched a ton. I've only watched The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Also, but yeah, he hasn't made a ton of movies, but he's great. And Ennio Morricone, one of his greatest scores ever. He also did the score to The Thing, which we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's like an all-time great composer.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
a bunch of badasses.
Yeah, firing on all cylinders.
Yeah,
literally and figuratively. Because I only had that one cylinder.
Yeah,
each. Let's see. Yeah, I guess that's it from us.
Yeah.
Let's rate it. What's your rating, Kjarvin?
7.5.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's. I'd have to watch it again to really appreciate everything that was going on, I think.
Yeah.
And so, like, in this particular watch, there's just so much happening, but also not happening.
Yeah.
That it's hard to, like, because you're waiting for the story to unfold, right? And so, and it unfolds very deliberately.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay.
At times it feels slow and boring.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're like, oh, it's an old movie.
Yeah, it's slower.
Yeah. And then, like, like, things will happen, and you're like, I don't really like that. Like when Joe gets raped, and it's like, that's not fun.
Yeah.
But again, old movie. Times they was a different.
Yeah.
Old movie about an old time period. Anyways, what about you, Jared?
This is a 10 from me.
10 out of 10.
I really, really like it.
Yeah.
This is one of those movies that I want to go watch it on a big screen someplace.
Yeah, again, we could go watch it.
Yeah. We're gonna do that.
Maybe
gonna happen.
It's like a 4-hour movie.
it's not even a 3-hour movie.
2 hours.
2:45.
2:45.
Yeah. It's like the length of Avengers Endgame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I watched again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Second viewing. How anything change?
No, it's still a very good movie.
Yeah.
The pacing feels less bad.
Yeah.
I think on the second time because
I feel like that's a part of slower movies is that the more you watch them, the less you notice how slow they are.
Possibly, yeah.
Because you're doing less anticipating and more just being patient.
Right, yeah.
If that makes any sense?
Yeah, because you're like, oh, it's slow right now, but there's a great moment coming up.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's how I'll treat this movie, where, like, like, when you're kind of, like, watching Jill, like, ride around on that cart.
Yeah.
Talking to that guy with the really weird accent.
Yeah.
You're like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Like, what's happening?
Yeah.
But, like, on a rewatch, I'd be like, oh, but the laundromat scene is coming up.
Yeah.
And that scene is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
So, again, I think I would appreciate everything that's happening more upon a rewatch.
Yeah. Yeah. It's great. Yeah. It's an epic, too.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so we have a choice here.
Mm-hmm.
We have a movie coming up for Movie Club, which is There Will Be Blood.
Yep.
Do you want to do a movie before that of your picking?
When is that?
The discussion is this Sunday.
This Sunday?
Yeah. I mean, in terms of the podcast, we don't have to.
No, let's just do that.
Okay.
So that I don't forget things.
Right.
Because I'm a very busy boy.
Yeah.
God damn it. Everyone's demanding my attention, including my dogs who are now scrounging around for food.
They're wandering around, yeah.
They're looking for food. I need to feed them.
All right.
This is as good a time as any to call it quits.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening. Jared, why don't you send us off?
Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at howaboutpod. Email us at howaboutpod@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Facebook now. It's facebook.com/howaboutpod, and that will lead you to the page of ours. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, next week is There Will Be Blood. So another long old Western movie type thing.
Yeah.
All right. Ta-ta for now. Kevin, you want to say goodbye? You want to pick up that mic and say goodbye?
Bye.
All right. See you guys later.